It happened. The Toronto Raptors just fired their head coach, Dwane Casey, and he literally just won the Coach of the Year award. The NBA is funny. They're always blaming the coaches. But this is interesting because remember the Golden State Warriors? They got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. They fired Mark Jackson. And then the next season, they won the championship. So maybe the Raptors are saying, you know what? We won 59 games this season. It's unacceptable to get swept. Maybe they really do believe it's the coach's fault, because for the Warriors, it was amazing that as soon as they switched the coach, it was like that season, that off season, the entire team developed again. It was like a fast track of development. They got even better than they were because they weren't as good the year before. I don't know how they just, boom, just transformed into a championship team, but they did. So that's why when you look at this firing, it's not Dwane Casey's fault that they lost to the Cavs or even that they got swept, but maybe it makes sense to get rid of him, move on, and try something new. Remember, in game 1 against the Cavs this season, the Toronto Raptors, they choked the game. And Kyle Lowry was one of the biggest chokers because with about 3 minutes to play, there was 2 seconds on the shot clock, and he called a timeout. He wasted a timeout. And then when they came out of the timeout, he couldn't even get the ball inbound, so it was a turnover. That is a precious timeout at the end of the game that was wasted by a player, not by the head coach. If Kyle Lowry didn't choke and blow the timeout, then Dwane Casey would have been able to stop the game, stop the momentum, maybe save that game, who knows? Then in game 3, it's amazing because DeRozan, he disappeared. So he got benched in the fourth quarter. And what's funny though is that the Raptors, they actually came back in the fourth quarter. Remember, they lost at the end of the game with a game winner. And then in game 4, Kyle Lowry only had 5 points. Is that the coach's fault that he only scored 5 points? So I don't see how firing the coach is going to change anything for next season. You could put Greg Popovich there. You could put Brad Stevens there. And I don't think this Raptors team would have advanced in this series. Would they have gotten swept? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe Brad Stevens would have put that fight mentality into them and maybe they wouldn't have been swept, but I don't know if they advance. And DeRozan, he only had 13 points in game 4. Remember, they were double teaming DeRozan, so he couldn't do anything. So he's passing it around. The rest of his teammates couldn't score. Now that could be a scheming problem. I'm not saying that Dwane Casey is the perfect coach and that he made no mistakes. I just don't think that if you change the coach, you're really going to change anything with this team. It's the Toronto Raptors because of the players, not the coach. Now we need to hear from Raptors fans. Are you happy that the coach is fired? Is it the right move? Is it a mistake? Do you think the next coach is going to turn you into a real championship contender? Can you take down LeBron James next season if he's still in the East? Can you take down the Celtics or the 76ers? Do you want to see DeRozan or Lowry get traded? Do you want to blow the whole team up? Do you want to start over? Raptors fans, let us know what you're thinking after hearing about this firing. What direction do you want your team to go in? Oh my goodness, here we go. We're going to have to fight the whole hive, the whole gang. Wow. We're going to rage. Why not? Take that.
Keep shooting, boy. I will clear our path.
Okay.
Okay, I think I wasted that rage.